This is Modern Service Mastery, Business School with Boots on. Real lessons, real talk, and real growth for the residential service industry. Let's get to work.
All right, so let's dive back into the OODA Loop. We talked about this back in chapters 2 and 4, and I wanted to go a little deeper. It's this amazing tool developed by a fighter pilot, John Boyd, to make super fast decisions in high-pressure situations. OODA stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. Simple to remember, but so powerful. Boyd's whole point was, whoever cycles through these steps the fastest gains an edge. And what's beautiful is that this concept doesn't just apply to fighter pilots, it's a game changer in business, in sales, and especially in what we do in the service industry.
Wait, so you're telling me that a strategy for fighter jet dogfights works for upselling and landscaping? That's wild, but honestly kind of cool. Walk me through this with our world in mind, though. How does it translate from the skies to, someone's home?
Great question. So it's about process, Jake. Think about it. When you walk a property, what are you doing? You're observing, taking in all the details. What's the layout like? What's the client's style? What's working and what's not? Then you orient. You take those observations and you start connecting the dots. What are the client's goals? Are they trying to sell the property, create a haven? And then, this is the key, you decide and act. Instead of just making small talk, you're confidently suggesting enhancements that align with their vision.
All right, I like this so far, but let me ask, how does someone get better at observing? Like, I've been on crews where people couldn't spot a problem if it lit up in neon. What's the secret to seeing what others miss?
Observation is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Walk a property like you're prepping for a mission. Don't just glance around. Start scanning for patterns. Things like drainage issues, unhealthy plants, uneven walkways, broken gutter, watermarks. Then consider the client's goals. Are they the kind of person who loves to entertain, or are they all about functionality? And yeah, don't just notice, document. Use your phone, take a quick video or photos, and show them what they might have overlooked.
Man, I never thought of it that way. You're like the Sherlock Holmes of home renovations, bro.
Here's a great example for you. I had this one hesitant client a year ago. She was wary of spending extra on what she called unnecessary add-ons. But when I walked through her property, I noticed that her retaining wall was starting to bow. I documented it, pointed it out with concern, and explained how it could collapse in a bad storm. I paired that with a long-term enhancement, outdoor lighting for security. Suddenly, she saw the value in fixing something critical and adding something meaningful to her home at the same time. She wound up a long-term, repeat client because of that interaction.
Okay, so you hit her with the OODA loop, observed the problem, oriented it to her goals, decided on a fix, and acted on it with confidence. That's high level, man.
Exactly. It's about proactive service. The enemy isn't the client, Jake. It's inertia. You kill it by anticipating needs and moving fast. The faster you loop, the more value you provide.
Man, that example with the retaining wall and outdoor lighting was next level, Mike. All right, I'm fired up. You said this morning we were doing role plays, so let's dive right in. What's the first scenario?
Let's start with a classic, drainage issues. You're on a property, just finished fixing up some plant beds, and you notice pooling water near the foundation. It's subtle, but it's there. Now, what's your move?
Okay, I'd probably start with, hey, just so you know, I noticed some water settling near your house. That might cause problems later.
Not bad, Jake, but remember OODA. Observe, orient, decide, act. Don't just mention the problem. Tie it to their goals. Try this instead. I noticed some pooling near your foundation. Over time, that can lead to erosion or even basement leaks. We can get ahead of this with proper grading or a drainage system. See the difference?
Yeah, you're steering the conversation toward action. Got it. All right, give me another one.
All right, imagine it's early evening. You're walking the property and you see they've got a beautiful layout, but the outdoor lighting is non-existent. Dusk is setting, and the place could look like a resort if they just added a few fixtures. What's your approach?
Easy. I'd probably say something like, you ever thought about lighting up these walkways or those trees? It'd look amazing at night.
Solid start. Now, let's elevate it. Here's the role play. These walkways look gorgeous. What does this area look like at night?
Well, actually, it doesn't look all that great, Mike. I've always wanted to make it better.
Okay, picture this. Soft uplighting on the trees, path lights here, maybe a few accent LEDs on the patio. You'd have a totally different ambiance, and it'd add safety too. You see how I made it vivid?
Yeah, you painted the picture. It's more than selling lights. You're selling the dream, man.
Exactly. Selling isn't just resolving issues. It's creating enhancements that align with the client's vision. All right, here's another one. This one's for HVAC. You walk into a home for a routine service and notice the client's air conditioner is ancient. It's hanging in there, but barely. What do you say?
Oh, that's easy. Something like, hey, this unit's been working overtime. Have you thought about upgrading to something more efficient? You'd save on energy bills big time.
Right idea, Jake. Here's how to refine it. Your current AC has been a workhorse, but it's nearing the end of its lifespan. With a high-efficiency model, you'd not only avoid a breakdown midsummer, but also see immediate savings on your energy bills. The key is to lower resistance by emphasizing benefits and potential solutions.
All right. You're killing it with these tips, man. Got another one?
Last one for today, role-playing as a waiter turned contractor. You're pitching a high-end outdoor kitchen. The clients just dropped $5,000 on new sod, so they're feeling tapped out. What's your move?
I'd probably say something like, hey, I know we just got the turf down, but you said when we first met you love cooking and entertaining outside, right? Imagine this, a full outdoor kitchen right here. Pizza oven, grill, fridge, the whole deal. It's like bringing the party outdoors. Worth thinking about, man.
Not bad, but don't push it too far into someday territory. Say this, the new sod looks amazing, and now you've got this perfect backdrop for entertaining. Have you ever pictured an outdoor kitchen right here? I mean, you'd have a whole new space to enjoy, and it's easier to make it happen now while everything's fresh. See how I emphasize doing it now while the energy's high?
Yeah, that's smooth. You're helping them connect the dots right when they're most excited. Genius.
And that's the magic of proactive selling, Jake. It's not about pushing. It's about uncovering opportunities and making sure the client sees them in the best light. All right, Jake, let's paint a picture. You're out to dinner, nice place, dim lighting, cloth napkins, and the waiter comes over, doesn't even crack a smile.
Yep, he's just like, hi, you ready to order? No energy, no vibe, doesn't ask if you want a drink, doesn't tell you the specials. He's basically a walking notepad with legs.
Exactly. You order your meal, you get your food, you pay your bill. The food might be good, but the experience? Flat. No memory made, no upsell, no connection, and definitely no dessert.
Now compare that to the remarkable waiter, the one who's like, hey folks, welcome in. Have you tried our grilled sea bass? It pairs perfectly with the Sauvignon Blanc. Want to do a half glass to taste it? Suddenly you're intrigued. You're leaning in. You're saying yes to things you didn't even know you wanted.
And by the end of the night, you've had an appetizer, a bottle of wine, dessert, maybe even a second round of coffee. Your bill's way higher, but you're thrilled about it. You leave a fat tip and you're already planning to come back.
Now let's compare that to our business. Think about an average account manager or salesperson. They walk a property with a clipboard. They write down what the client asks for. Mulch here, mow there. No conversation, no suggestions, no spark.
And then there's the remarkable service pro. They're like that 5-star waiter. Hey, I noticed your lighting's a little dim on this path. Want me to show you a quick demo of some color changing options? Or your Japanese maple's getting scorched. Have you ever tried a transfilm treatment?
Now you're serving, not selling. You're creating an experience. And guess what? Just like at that restaurant, the client happily pays more because they're getting more. Not just service, they're getting care. They're getting insight. They're having fun.
And just like that waiter gets the big tip, this account manager builds trust, increases sales, and gets referrals without ever being pushy.
Yeah, they're not order takers. They're guides. Sherpas for the property, helping the client discover what they didn't even know they needed.
So here's the challenge to everyone listening. Are you taking orders or are you elevating experiences? Because that difference, that's what builds businesses.
All right, before you go back to your day, don't just listen. Do something with this.
Here's your challenge. The next time you walk a client property or even just review a maintenance route, don't be an order taker. Be that 5-star waiter. Ask questions, offer suggestions, guide the experience.
And here's a fun one. If you've ever been that waiter, good or bad, we want to hear about it. Post in the comments. Best story gets a shout out on the next episode. Let's turn these lessons into momentum.
Love it. You know what to do. Listen, learn, lead, and post and interact with the MSM community. Your next tip or your next big win might come from someone in our group.
Until next time, keep your boots dirty, your mind sharp, and your service unforgettable.
Thanks for listening to Modern Service Mastery Business School with Boots On. If this episode helped you lead, grow, or think differently, share it with your crew and keep the momentum going.